All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call Allah, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick, I'm not gonna make this too long, but it's it's two topics I want to cover, but one of the topics I'm leaning towards this one because since it's involving Babylon the Great. And there's another article I want to bring up, which is revolving around the MOTB. Now, we all know, to the ones that's in the know and the ones that's trying to get to know, we're in the time of prophecy, and we're in the time of prophecy to where everything that's taking place right now, when the MOTB comes out, is gonna be more impactful on all the things that's already taking place. Because right now, you have all the nations right now preparing for war. All right? Now, the Lord said that there should be wars and rumors of wars, but the end shall not come. Now, when the Lord said that, he was saying, like, basically, when you see these things, just know the end is not yet. But the end still is also close. So now there's an article a brother posted in our group chat about the MOTB and brain C-hips, right? But the article I'm bringing out today this is from Stars and Stripes, was a military news platform that started during the Civil War in 1861. And I believe they said the first edition was in Bloomfield, Missouri, 1861. So it's a credible source. But aside from this, they've been covering the fact that Trump and America, they've been sending troops all over the place, all over the world, deploying them from America, whether it be in the Pacific Sea, or in the Asia area, the Middle East. Now we got in Europe, right? Now, this is from Stars and Stripes, which is from 1861, a military news, which was started during the Civil War. Now, it says, thousands of U.S. soldiers deployed to Europe for defender drills. Now, remember what happened in Europe? What they said in Europe like a week or two ago. They said what? They told the whole European Union told the whole continent of Europe to prepare for some tribulous times, some perilous times. They told them basically to prepare for World War III. They told them to stock up for food for like 3 days. They said to prepare for basically prepare for the worst kind of event. Now all of a sudden you got America, you got America deploying U.S. soldiers, thousands of U.S. soldiers to Europe to do defender drills. We had Europe and Russia talking about due to Ukraine talking about going to war. So talk about the Russia going to war with the EU. So the EU put it out there to all. It said what 450 million citizens to prepare for World War III kind of events. Like I said, stocking up three days worth of food, so on and so forth. And now all of a sudden the US is sending thousands of troops over there to that region. You gotta understand like what times we living in. We're living in a time of war. But let me get into the article. So it says so yeah, thousands of U.S. soldiers deployed to Europe for defender drills. So this says in Stuttgart, Germany. It says several thousand U.S. soldiers are headed to Europe for large-scale combat drills. Large-scale combat drills that will stretch from the Arctic to the Mediterranean region. Army leaders on the continent said Monday. So you have Army head officials over there already, because today's Monday. And you know they probably, they 7 hours ahead over there, 7, 8 hours, they're a few hours ahead over there in Europe. So they probably left, like early Sunday over here. I don't know, but whatever. So it said troops are now beginning to mobilize for Defender 25, the service's largest series of annual drills in Europe, according to a statement from U.S. Army Europe and Africa. This is about global deterrence. USAREUR-AF boss General Christopher Donahue said in the statement, everything we demonstrate we can do with our allies and partners, we can pick up and do anywhere. There goes that pride, the pride of Babylon, thinking they can't be touched, thinking they can't be broken, thinking they can't be taken down, thinking they're not going to be destroyed. But that's how they're supposed to feel, because that's all the more for when the Lord Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI comes back to bring down the haughty. All right, but continuing on, it says the exercise, which started with the test of how quickly troops and gear can be dispatched to Europe. Offers logistics and combat sets and reps at a scale that isn't being done anywhere else right now, Donahue said. Now, now look at this. This is a picture from April 8th, 2025 in Romania. But look, it's a bunch of women. Look at it. Hold up. Damn, I can't read. But look at that. A bunch of women. This picture was taken April 8th, 2025 in Romania. A bunch of women. And then look, the dudes in it look mad sus. But anyway, continuing on, it says Defender 25 began April 10th with personnel and equipment setting out for positions in Europe. Various exercises will run through June and take place in 18 countries, with some 25,000 U.S. and allied troops. Hold up. Gotta get it. Let's go to the book of Joel. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 11. I'm going to read the NLT. It says, "Come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley, and now, O Lord, call out your warriors." So what's happening right now? We go into the NLT. We go into that verse in the King James Version. It says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about." Gather for what? Gather for war. What did he just say? This is for deterrence. This is to show that they could deploy, they could do anything real quick anywhere within their allies. Now you see how they're similar to themselves, right? And it says with some 25,000. I'm gonna read that again. It says Defender 25 began April 10th, which is what? 4 days ago. With personnel and equipment setting out for positions in Europe. Which in Europe, I think that was a few days ago, where it said what? Telling all the citizens of the continent in Europe to prepare for World War III, basically. It says various exercises will run through June and take place in 18 countries, with some 25,000 U.S. and allied troops. Among the highlights is a plan for 5 simultaneous allied airborne operations happening in May in Finland, Norway, Latvia, Lithuania, and Sweden, which are what? EU-NATO countries. Which is what? The nations are preparing for war. And those are Esau countries. And in this climate, this is intensifying quick. Tensions are rising very quickly. The water is boiling quick. Things are boiling quickly. Because years ago, you didn't have all these countries when the little thing, something happened, they say, oh, we all need to get involved. But now all of a sudden you got the whole EU telling the whole continent of Europe to prepare for war, to stock up food, stock up supplies, stock up whatever in case of a catastrophic event. So anyway, it says other drills include large troop movements such as long tactical road march by Visek, Germany-based 2nd Cavalry Regiment soldiers that will have them link up with allies for various drills in Central and Southeastern Europe. Now, mind you, this is after the whole EU told the whole continent of Europe to prepare for catastrophic World War III-like events. And now, all of a sudden, you got the U.S. sending thousands of troops over there to Europe. Anyway, it says this year, about 5,400 U.S.-based soldiers will join their American counterparts already in Europe. The Army said thousands of other NATO countries' troops also will be part of the initiative. What does this sound like? Does it sound like something that's not going to happen in our lifetime? When they're preparing like this, that means that it's coming soon. This is not going to take place for the next 100 years. They talk about next 1,000 years. These nations preparing for war, this nuclear war, they're preparing for this war within a few years, man. Because now they talk about the CHIP coming out soon. And I'm gonna bring that, Lord willing, I'm gonna bring that on another day. Lord willing, tomorrow. Because ultimately, we still have to, that still has to take place, the MOTB. So right now, the Lord is just festering the war, the third world coming quickly, and then eventually the sea going to come, and then that's where all the bombs going to fly. All right? But continuing on, it says, the Army launched the Defender series in Europe in 2020, which is the year of the what? The vid. As part of an effort to add complexity to U.S. and allied combat drills. This exercise confirms the capabilities to deny aggressors and reinforces the U.S. commitment to NATO's defense strategy and increased combat capability to deter with power, USAREUR-AF said. And that's the end of our article. So let me, might as well go back to Joel and read that. Excuse me. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, and it says, I'll read the NLT. It says, say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. And that's what they're doing right now. It just said in that article, said what? Since 2020. Now thousands more U.S. troops are joining their counterparts that's already in Europe. We're talking about in a 5-year process. This whole time, America, the small hats in Iran, the whole thing with their nuclear program was still a thing. And a couple years later, you had what? The whole thing with Russia and Ukraine start, which is what, 2022. So we're living in a time where the Lord is preparing the Lord has the Gentiles preparing for war. All right. Go back to the article. It said, yeah, so I'm reading that in King James now. So this is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And that's what they're doing right now. Because when you go a couple verses down, we talk about the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That's over there in that region, including Europe. Well, Europe is at the Valley of Jehoshaphat, but what's happening is all these countries are getting ready for war, and all this war, all the war talk that's similar now stems from what? The war happening with the small hats over there in our land, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, in the Middle East, and over there with Russia and Ukraine. But it's all intertwined. It's all intertwined. All right? Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And when you go into the NLT, it says, hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. And that's what you have right now. Because even in Canada, this is a few months ago, you had in Canada who hasn't really been deploying troops for war due to the whole thing. I think it was with Russia, Ukraine. And if it wasn't Russia, Ukraine, I think it was the small hats in the Middle East. But I think it was a Russia, Ukraine to send troops over there to Ukraine in that region to help the Ukrainians against the Russians, which is what? The Gog and Magog. And Putin already said what? We're prepared to go to war with the whole NATO and the U.S. And now you have the U.S. and Europe now preparing for war as well. But look, but think about how long Russia, Iran, North Korea, think about how long they've been preparing for war all through this emic shit through 2020. Because when Russia attacked Ukraine, that was in early 2022. We are now in almost halfway through 2025. So in that span of time, look how much has transpired within the last 5 years and now through the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Now everybody talking about getting their nukes ready. Motherfuckers putting pieces here, putting pieces there. You got nuclear submarines, nuclear aircrafts, aircraft carriers here, aircraft carriers there. You got America sending a lot of shit over there to the Middle East because the Lord is mustering the host of the battle. Continuing on. So this is Joel chapter 3, verse 11, and it says, this is a King James verse. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And that's what's happening right now. Everybody that's quote unquote to be a warrior is getting ready for war. Anybody in the military is getting ready for war. Anybody that's signed up in any military, in any part of the world, in any country in the world right now, they already know that now it's going to be the time to come to actual war front, to the battlefield. Whether it be in the air, whether it be in the sea, whether it be on the ground. All right? So when you read in the Joel chapter 3, verse 11 in NLT, it says what? Come quickly, all you nations, everywhere. Gather together in the valley, now, O Lord, call out your warriors. And that's what everybody's doing right now. They're calling out their warriors. Everybody's getting their ducks in a row. Everybody's beating their plowshares and their swords. Everybody's getting their nuclear arms ready. You got America, the whole thing with America, Iran, and the small hats is because of Iran's nuclear program. You got Trump saying that they can't have nuclear weapons. Iran can be a great country, but they can't have nuclear weapons. But here it is, you America, you can have nuclear weapons. Israel can have nuclear weapons. And nobody else on the earth is all worried about Iran's nuclear weapons. Now, granted, nobody wants to go to a nuclear war, but when you have something as far as violent weapons of mass destruction, who was the first country to use weapons of mass destruction? America, World War II. And that's how America became the powerhouse that they are today. But now you got all these other countries, all these other nations, they got that shit too now. They have the capabilities. It's not just America's not the big man on campus anymore. And that's why Trump, I gotta do this, that's why they can't have nuclear weapons. They can't have nuclear weapons. They could be a great rich country. They just can't have nuclear weapons. But here it is, you can have nuclear weapons. Israel, the small hats can have nuclear weapons, but they can't have nuclear weapons because of what? Who are you to say that? And Iran, you had a dude from Iran said what? Hey, if y'all want this peace to go down, how about a whole denuclearization of the Middle East? How about Israel giving up their nuclear weapons? Oh, you think you could just have nuclear weapons and nobody else can? And that goes to show the pettiness and the entitlement of these fucking Edomites and these fucking Amalekites, man. That's why the Lord, when YAHAWASHI come back, you're going to be the first on his list, man. And you in our land? You in a land that don't belong to you anyway? Forget the Palestinians. Forget Gaza. Forget Yemen. Let's talk about what these people did to the true children of God, the children of Israel. That's what the Lord going to get y'all for. Because you in the Lord's people's land. You in his holy land. And that's why you got to get whacked. That's why you got to get whacked. And that's why Iran is going to have nuclear weapons. Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb soon. If they don't have it already. And if you want to do something, hey man, if you feeling froggy, go ahead and leak. They keep that's what the Lord said. What? There should be wars and threats of wars. But the Lord still is holding them back a little bit. But soon enough, He's gonna unleash all of this, man. And that's gonna be after the MOTB comes. That's what really we have to really look for and wait for and watch out for. Because they're gonna go all back and forth with all those wars and threats of wars. This is gonna continue until somebody actually shoots a missile or a nuclear missile over to America or so on and so forth. But when that happens, what has already taken place? This beast has ushered in his new system, where no man can buy or sell save he that had the mark. So that has to take place. But that was pretty much it on that. But I just wanted to bring that up, man. So you got America, hold up. You got America that just deployed thousands of soldiers to Europe to do defender drills, man. So if that's not preparing for war, if that's not we're in the time of war, and you already got America, they're already fighting against the Yemen, the Houthis over there in the Red Sea. You got the whole thing going on in the Pacific with China and Taiwan and all them. The whole thing happening in Russia, Ukraine, that's still going on. You got Russia, they just wiped out some shit in Ukraine. So, man, the shit it's up. It's up. And it's only going to go more up from here. And that means more down for Esau and his kingdom. And that's it. That's the fair trade. You had a good run. You had a good run, Esau. But now the Lord is about to end it. You're about to reach that border that you cannot pass. All right? So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honor to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.